In this lesson, we're taking a look at Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Bit of a guitar classic this one, even though it's a fairly short song coming in at just under 3 minutes, there's still plenty of cool riffs and techniques to take a look at, as well as a guitar solo which we're going to cover in full if you want to expand your lead guitar capabilities as well. That's all coming up in this lesson, which is part of my power chord series, so you can use the link in the description to find more songs to help put your power chords into action. I want to quickly mention at this point that the original is tuned slightly sharp, so if you want to match up the tuning perfectly, you'll have to raise the pitch of your guitar ever so slightly, or use audio software to lower the pitch of the file. But if you're just wanting to practice and jam along, playing along with the original should be absolutely fine. And without further ado, let's start with that iconic intro. So the intro, of course, sounds like this. So we've got the same phrase repeated 4 times, twice in isolation and twice with the band backing it up. Now this is based around an E power chord rooted on the 12th fret of the low E string, which we're going to do with the first finger, and we're going to also start with the first finger barring the A string as well, so you should hear these 2 notes together. Now it might help to try and get the angle of the first finger right so that you're not barring the D string, or just be careful with your strumming that you're only strumming the bottom 2 strings, but it's this sound. Immediately following that initial strum, we're going to hammer the 3rd finger down on the 14th fret of the A string to complete the E power chord. That's going to sound like this. You can see the 2-finger E power chord in place there. And we're going to do this 3 times. So you've just got to make sure you're lifting that 3rd finger as you do the strum. And the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Once again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But hopefully if you're familiar enough with the song, which I'm sure you are, you can just get that rhythm by ear. Next, in response to those power chord strums, we've got more hammer-ons. So for this part, I like to just keep my first finger barred, but this time make sure the D string is barred as well. And we're going to be picking the A string first and throwing the 3rd finger down onto the 14th fret of the A again, but you're only hearing a single string this time, so it's... And then moving up to the D string, same thing, so 12th fret to 14th fret hammer on. And if you put the 2 together, you get this. And it just repeats that twice. Now, as I said, I like to just keep the first finger barred down on the bottom 3 strings. Obviously for this part of the riff, we're only using the A string and D string, but it's just keeping the low E string barred for when we go back to the power chords. However, you can just use the first finger to play single notes, so I can just move between 12th and 14th on A and on D, like this. There's a little bit more movement involved, but you might prefer to play it like that if you find it easier to get it sounding cleaner, so you're not barring extra strings and having unwanted notes ringing out. And the other thing to get right about this part is the rhythm. So we haven't got that kind of offset rhythm that we had with the strummed power chords. We've just got straight 8ths, so just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Really common mistake that I see in students for this one is that the hammers come too quickly, so it ends up sounding like this. Which isn't the sound you want it nice and equal. And then when you pair that with the power chord strums, you get the full riff, so. And as I mentioned, it repeats that 4 times, and just to clarify the rhythms, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Next, we're into what is really the main riff of the song, but it also acts as the verse. There's no real chorus in this song, which is probably one of the things that keeps the length quite short, but this is the main riff, which makes up most of the song, to be honest. So that sounds like this. Again, pretty recognisable, and we're going to be using that 2-finger power chord to get started. So first finger is playing the root note on the 12th fret of the low E, 3rd finger is playing the 14th fret of the A, and rhythmically we're just doing these tight, chuggy, palm muted down strums, which sound like this. So it's really percussive sounding. I'm muting the strings quite a lot with my right hand, but you're aiming for that kind of heavy sound. And we're going to do 2 full bars of just 8th notes on the E. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we're going to slide the chord down 2 frets to root on the 10th fret and play 1 bar of D power chord. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we put those together, we've got the E, down to the D, and then we're finishing off with this movement. So what we're doing here, we've got, if we set up the fingers on the D chord for now, so first finger's on 10th fret, 3rd finger is on 12th fret A, we're essentially going to be rolling both fingers onto the next strings. With the 3rd finger it's more of a kind of lie down action, but I'll just explain this fully. So the first finger is going to be rolling from the 10th fret of the low E onto the 10th fret of the A. That gives us our G root note. And then the tip of the first finger is going to remain touching the underside of the bottom string to keep it muted. So we're not going to have any open E string ringing out, making it all messy. It's going to be nice and clean. The 3rd finger is starting in the D chord on just the 12th fret on the A. What the 3rd finger is going to do is just flatten and lie down and end up actually barring the 12th fret on the D and G strings. So you're getting the top part of the G power chord. Okay, so first finger's moving from 10th fret E to 10th fret A to get the new root note, and 3rd finger is lying down from the 12th fret on the A onto the 12th fret on the middle 2 strings. So that way we end up with this G power chord played with 2 fingers. So from the D, we're kind of rolling and lying the fingers down to get the G and then rolling them back to get the D. So this is all done with just 2 fingers, and because it's so efficient you can get that change really quick. And that's how you get that snappy sound where it just jumps straight between the chords. So we've done the E and the D. Then really quickly we've got lying down for the G, back to the D, and then up to the E again. So it's them 3 quick chords, all just 1 down strum each. But the real thing you've got to spend time practicing is moving between the D and the G with the kind of rolling technique. So just get used to making that change nice and smooth. So as I say, at the end of the riff, we've got the G, D, E really quick, and then we've just got this one final little kind of noise that gets thrown in, which is the high-pitched little staccato thing on top. So in context. And what he's doing here, after you've played the E power chord rooted on the bottom string, just use the first finger to jump up and bar the 12th fret on the D, G and B strings. And I'm using the kind of my excess fingers to come over and just mute the bottom 2 strings, so I can just strum the strings and I'm only going to hear these 3 notes. And the 2nd finger and 3rd finger are keeping the bottom 2 strings quiet, so you're not getting any of this muddy stuff. It's quite a big change to get used to, but it can be done. So if you put that in the riff, and that's just kind of a little stabby note at the end before the whole thing starts again. So once again, here's the whole riff. We've got the E to the D, then we're going G, D, E, and then the first finger bar, which is kind of just like a little G triad at the end, really. So whole thing, E to D, and the quick movement, and then it just starts again from the E, and it repeats quite a lot. As I say, takes up the majority of the song, that riff. Next, we've got what I'm just calling the filler riff, because it's structurally it's just there to kind of fill a gap and break up the verses a little bit, and that sounds like this. And then you'd hear the vocals come back in after that part. So what we're doing here is we're starting with our 2-finger E power chord again, rooted on the 12th fret low E, and we're just going to strum it and let it ring out for a whole bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just sustaining the chord, then we're sliding down to the 8th fret for a C power chord, giving it a strum, then up to the D power chord, give it 1 strum, and they're half a bar each. So far we've got the E, 1, 2, 3, 4, C for half a bar, so 1, 2, D for the other half of that bar, 3, 4, and then back up to the E, and we're just doing the chuggy palm muted down strums again for 2 bars, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we repeat that whole riff, so full bar of just a sustained E chord, half a bar each of C and D, and then the down strum chugs again. Okay, so if we put the whole thing together, I'll count along. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, C, D, E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, C, D, E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So fairly simple riff, this one. One slightly tricky thing to keep an eye out for is at the end of the riff, there's not really anything that changes when the verse starts. We're just staying on that down strum kind of chuggy E chord thing. So you've got to be really aware of when the bars came to an end and you've started the like the next verse progression. Otherwise it might be easy to get lost. But when the vocals come back in, that should keep you right anyway. So just something to be aware of. Make sure you know exactly when you're changing section from this part of the song. So following that filler riff, we've got another verse section, and then following that, we've got what I'm calling the bridge, which is probably the simplest part of the song. That sounds like this. And this is the "Can You Help Me Occupy My Brain" lyrics, if that helps you pinpoint it in the song. So we've just got 2 sustained chords. We've got 2 bars of sustaining that E chord on the 12th fret. Then 2 bars of sustaining the D chord on the 10th fret. And that just repeats twice. So with the counting, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then back into your main verse riff. So that's how it works in terms of the bars and the counting, but you're probably going to be using the lyrics to help pinpoint exactly when the chords change as well. But that's the last kind of rhythmic section, and now we'll take a look at the solo. So the guitar solo is played over the top of 4 phrases of the verse progression, so I'm going to divide it up into quarters just to make it easier to explain and easier to understand. And the first quarter sounds like this. Now we're in the key of E minor, and we're using E minor pentatonic patterns 3 and 4 for this section. So do check out the pattern lessons in my Minor Pentatonic series if you're not sure of the patterns. And we're also linking the patterns together using the extended pentatonic scale, which there are lessons for in that pentatonic series as well. So do check those out if you haven't seen them already. They're super helpful, and this is a great example of them being used in an actual song. So for that first section, we're starting by lining the first finger up on the 7th fret of the G string, and third finger is lined up on the 9th fret of the G string, and we're starting with a pre-bend, and it's a tone and a half bend with the third finger. So we're bending the 9th fret, but it's going to sound like the 12th fret, and we're doing a pre-bend, so we're pushing the string first and then picking. Okay, so it's quite a bizarre move, but just one that you got to get used to. So you might want to start by bending from the natural position first, making sure you can hit the pitch of that 12th fret. But then you need to learn to pre-bend it, so you're just pushing the string up, using that muscle memory, picking and then releasing the bend. And then after releasing the bend, we're pulling off to the first finger on the 7th fret. So that's... and then putting the third finger back down on the 9th fret and picking it. So that first little move. After that, we've got... so what we're doing here is we're sticking with the third finger and first finger on the G strings, 7th and 9th fret. We're going to pick the 9th fret and the 7th fret first. And then after that, we're going to pull off 9th to 7th. So picking 9-7, pulling off 9-7. Okay, so you should be able to hear the difference. And then third finger moves onto D string. We're going to pick the 9th fret and immediately slide it down to 7th fret. So sometimes with slides you hear the initial note first and then the slide like this. But this isn't one of them, we're just sliding straight away. It's just straight into. So if I put all of that together. And then after that. So we've got a similar thing going on here where we've got first finger on the 5th fret of the D, third finger on the 7th fret of the D. We're going to pick both notes first, so 5, 7, then pick 5 and hammer on 7. So it's a little bit like over here where we had the picks and then the pull off. But now we're down here and we've got picks and then a hammer on. But it's kind of the same in terms of the rhythm of the picks versus the legato. So after this, so now moving on to the, we're starting with a hammer on from the first finger on the 5th fret A, hammering the third finger down on the 7th fret, then pick it twice. So that sounds like this. First finger then moves up to the 5th fret D, and then we're ending with third finger on 7th fret A. So, and if we put all of that first quarter together, we get this. And that last note's a little bit sustained with a bit of vibrato on, and that gives you the first quarter of the solo. It probably doesn't matter too much exactly which ones you do as hammer-ons and pull-offs. I've tried to get it as close as I can to the original, but if you are hearing it slightly different or it feels better for you to play it in a slightly different way, don't worry about it, just make sure you get the notes and the rhythms right and it should sound fine. The second quarter of the solo sounds like this. So we're starting off in pattern 3 of E minor pentatonic. First finger is on the 5th fret of the D string. We're picking that one and then hammering third finger down on the 7th fret. We're then picking that 7th fret again and sliding up a tone to the 9th fret, so that's. Then on the G string, we're picking first finger on 7th fret G and hammering third finger down on 9th fret. And then picking it again. So put all of that together. Okay, so it's pick, hammer, pick, slide, pick, hammer, pick. We're then hammering the two notes on G string again, so 7th fret to 9th fret. Then stepping up to the next string in pattern 4, which is going to involve picking first finger on the 8th fret of the B, then third finger on the 10th fret of the B. So the G string is hammered, everything on the B is picked, so we're going hammer, then picking. We've then got some tone bends on this with the third finger on this 10th fret of B string, up, down, and then pull off to first finger. So 2 of those. Then pick the third finger on the 10th fret again. So from the start of that little phrase, and then we're ending with this. So from that position, we're going first finger playing the 8th fret of the B, second finger playing the 9th fret on the G twice, then first finger stepping back to the 7th fret of the G, hammering the third finger down the 9th fret, and then picking twice. Okay, so from the bends. So if we put all of that together from the second quarter, starting in pattern 3, into pattern 4, And then after that last note, it makes sense to try and slide up the fretboard to get into the next pattern, which we'll take a look at now. So now for the third quarter of the solo, we're going to find ourselves in E minor pentatonic pattern 1, which a lot of players are probably quite familiar with. So the first finger's lined up with the 12th fret now, and we're going to start by playing the 12th fret of the B string, third finger playing the 15th fret of the B, and then 2 tone bends. Then release the bend, pick the 15th fret and its natural pitch, and then down to the 12th fret with the first finger. So that's... Then we've got 3 tone bends up on the 15th fret of the high E. After this, we've got this quick lick. So first finger is playing the 12th fret high E, hammering the third finger on the 15th fret, then pulling it off. And then using the third finger to play 15th fret on the B. That's twice, so... And if we add that on to what we did at the start. From here, we're then picking the 15th fret on the B again, pulling off to the 12th fret. Second finger is going to play the 14th fret of the G, and we're going to bend it up a tone. Followed by first finger, doing a little roll from the 12th fret of the B onto the high E. So we end up with this movement. Okay, so if I go from the quick lick, and then after that, another pull off on the B string, 15 to 12. Third finger's gonna tuck in and play 14th fret G. And then to finish this section, we've got first finger playing 12th fret G, third finger playing 14th fret D, back to first finger 12th fret G, then it's going to be third finger 14th fret G, pick it and then bend up a tone, then back down, pull off to the first finger on the 12th fret, and that's the end of that phrase. So just to give you that ending from the fast part. And then if I play the whole third quarter a little bit closer to full speed. Hopefully that makes sense how it lines up with the track. And final quarter of this solo. Mainly utilising the bottom of pattern 1 and pattern 5 in the E minor pentatonic here. So we're going to start with a tone bend, just staccato on the 14th fret of the G string. You only hear it go up, not coming back down, so you've got to mute with either the right hand or by relaxing the fingers in the left hand. Then we're going to pick the 12th fret with the first finger and then hammer on 3rd fret and then pull it off again. So... Following this, we've got first finger playing that 12th fret G again, third finger playing the 14th fret D, and then we've got third finger pulling off 14th fret D to first finger on 12th fret, and then third finger playing the 14th fret A. So, and then this next little bit, first finger's playing the 12th fret of the D string, and then it's rolling onto the A string 12th fret and jumping down to the 10th fret on the A string. So that's how we get into pattern 5, so far in this last quarter. Okay, now we've got a pull off 12th fret to 10th fret on the A string with the third finger to the first finger. Third finger then moves to the 12th fret lower E. And then it's going to roll onto the 12th fret of the A string and slide up 2 frets to the 14th fret. So that part is... That gets us back into pattern 1, and then to finish off this solo, we've got first finger playing 12th fret D, pick it again and hammer the third finger down on the 14th fret. First finger moves to 12th fret on G, and then we're going third finger on 14th fret D, first finger 12th fret, and then the ending is just going between the 14th and 12th frets on the D string. So we're going 14, 12, and then ending with the third finger on that 14th fret. And the rhythm of the ending, so we've got, matches up with the sound of the riff that's played underneath. So if I give you that full final quarter of the solo, we've got this. Now I'm just going to finish off by giving you a demo of the full solo. I'm going to do it at reduced tempo at first, then I'm going to do it at full tempo, so you can slow this part of the video down just to really analyze what's going on and get the sound of the solo in your ears to help you play it. And I've also included the right hand in the video in case you want to analyze things like picking direction. So the slow version sounds like this. And at full speed. I hope that's helped you get to grips with this classic tune. There aren't really many parts and the rhythms are fairly simple, but it is quite fast, so you might want to practice along to it slowed down on YouTube and then gradually raise up the speed as you get more comfortable. It might also be worth having a go at that guitar solo if you want to boost your lead playing and add some new licks to your repertoire. Remember, there are more power chord based song lessons linked in the series in the description, and you might want to check out the Minor Pentatonic series as well to help out with the lead stuff. Be sure to subscribe for more guitar lessons, and I'd really appreciate you giving the video a like if you found it helpful, and hopefully I'll see you for another lesson soon.